Today we're going to do part 1 of the Montessori Roots lesson. This will include the function of the root, parts of the root, collaboration between roots and leaves, and other functions of the root. Each lesson can be done on its own day. We're going to start with the roots. Where does the water come from that the leaves need to make their food? Well, it's absorbed by the roots. So one could say that the plant eats with his head and drinks with his feet. They drink with their feet because it's the roots that absorb the water in the ground. The water is taken up by the roots and it's sent to the other parts of the plant. Because roots have the task of finding water, they have a sensitivity to it. Wherever there is water in the ground, the roots will seek it out. So we set up this experiment 2 weeks ago. These are radish plants. Radish is a really great plant for doing experiments because it grows really fast. And so here we have our plants, and once our little seedlings started to sprout, we moved where we were watering our plants so that we could follow and we could see that our roots grew towards where the water is. Now this one broke a little bit. Let's see if we can do another one. Okay. So if we turn it over, you can actually see, oh, maybe not, but our roots go all the way here where we were watering. Okay, you can see that the roots were searching for the water. So wherever water is, the roots find it. And it's in this way, roots help to drain water from the ground. In areas that don't have a lot of plants and there's a lot of rainfall, the land becomes swampy because there's no roots to pump the water out of the ground. Now we're going to talk about the parts of the root. The part of the root which guides the whole root to the water is called the root tip. It searches throughout the ground looking for the water. And when the root runs across an obstacle, if the obstacle is not too big, the root will grow around and continue to search for water. However, if that obstacle is very big and the root can't grow around it, the tip will produce an acid and start to break that obstacle down so that it can get to the water that it really wants. The root tip is vital to the whole root. Did you know that if you cut the root tip off, it couldn't find water anymore? It loses its sensitivity. It could just grow straight. We could say that the root tip is like the brain of the root. Because it is so important, it's protected. It's protected by what we call the root cap. So here, if we had a magnifying glass or anything else to kind of look really close. This is a close-up view. This is 40-time view of a root. And here is the root cap. Well, the part of the root that actually absorbs the water is called the root hairs. And they're found just above the tip. And so here you can see all those little hairs growing off of that seed. And that's what's actually absorbing the water. So now we're going to talk about the collaboration between roots and leaves. So as those roots are searching for the water, they're helped by leaves. Can you imagine that? The leaves are helping. You know how clever plants are? They're always doing their jobs in different ways. Here's a picture of how leaves help to direct the water right down to the root where the hairs can absorb that water. But if you look at this one, on this plant, the water is being directed right down the stem. Where do you think the root hairs are on this plant? Then if we look at this one, here the water goes from leaf to leaf right down to the root hairs. And this one as well. Here's another one where the leaves just guide the water down from leaf to leaf. Have you ever seen trees like that? The water always goes like that. Have you ever stood under a tree in the rain? you don't really get wet because the leaves are spreading the water out to get to where the roots are. Well, there is another function of the root. Those root hairs are thirstily looking for water underground. They grow in all different directions, and as they do this, they create a big network of roots. This network of roots actually holds the plant to the ground. Look at that. See those roots? They're just holding on so tight to the ground that the plant is not going to fall over. Even if there's a big windstorm, those roots hold on to the plant so that they don't fall down. Here we can do another experiment. So we set that up. Okay, so we have a pencil that's standing up all by itself. I tied 3 strings on and then attached it to the corkboard with some push pins. But look at how stable that is. That's what the roots do. They hold the plants to the ground. Now remember when we did this experiment? We were looking at this and we were trying to pull the plants out and I said that root broke. I'm tugging and I'm tugging and I'm tugging and it's really hard to get this plant out of the ground because the roots are holding it to the ground. Okay, the roots were holding on to the little plant.